Check. We are live. Welcome back to another live stream repair. Looks like we've got... Oh, are there two in there? Probably two in this one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 HomePods. I say half, somebody sent in just the amplifier. Which one do we start with first? I think I'm gonna knock out the one that's got 2 in it. Let's see. So we've got Yan. After that, we're gonna do Chris. Don't know whose that is. And then we've got Fred. Jiro. Ryan. And then Richie. Now, what's wrong with Yan's HomePods? I have a first gen, it turns on, but it doesn't reset. Oh, I think this is actually Steven. Oh, it is Steven. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. I think Steven's their English name, and where's my mouse? Here we go. And so they've got 2 HomePods. One, it does not reset and keeps spinning white circle. The second one is a 2nd gen. Okay, we're gonna save those because that needs its own stream. Being a 2nd gen HomePod, we're gonna probably end up spending a lot more time on that. I guess then let's find out what's wrong, or rather, whose this other one is here. It looks like... Is that Joe? Is this Joe again? Yeah. Alright, Joe here. Has got a 1st gen with no power. Let's shoot them an email so they can watch along with us. Okay, we've got power. Let me double check their email here. Oh, no, that's right. They bought this one with rattling bass. Even more. Oh, wow. Ooh, it's dusty too. Alright, so most likely, I saw this one for sale on eBay, and I was tempted to get it just because of the cool stand. But Joe beat me to it. So what probably happened was it fell off that fancy stand at one point. Possibly bent the subwoofer up. Maybe cracked some plastic inside. Yep, we got some broken plastic under there because that screw's not extracting itself like the rest of these. There it is. Dare we try to glue this back together? Nah. I got enough of these top baskets. I'm not gonna bother with trying to glue it back together and hoping that it stays together forever. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna keep going. We're gonna make sure the subwoofer didn't get bent up. And then we're gonna keep going. And we're gonna get the amplifier out and do a little bit of maintenance. So, into the recycle bin with this is our subwoofer. Yeah, I hear it leaking out from some... Oh, there it is. Bent up right there. The voice coil seems to be in great shape. So here's what we're going to do. There's our bend. You can probably see how the lip kind of dips down like that. What that's doing is it's keeping the subwoofer from sitting flat against the gasket here and letting air leak through and making it sound awful. That plastic piece that was broken off, that was still attached to the screw. It only fell off once we unscrewed everything, so that wasn't causing the rattle. This is what was causing the rattle. So we're just going to give it a few smacks. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's... Look at that. Okay. Let's get the amp out, do some maintenance, and get this back together. Oh, here, another great example of why I firmly believe this glue was not for sealing the thing whatsoever. If it was, this wouldn't have done anything right here. This is an awful amount of glue. So yeah, don't bother gluing these things back together. They don't glue the second gens back together, and they use fewer screws. All it'll do is make it harder for the next guy to get in. What's the printer printing? What's the printer printing? We're printing cases for our new table dock. They're finally ready to ship out over to my shop, mixfix.com/shop. Table dock is made for not just USB restoring it, but setting it down upright on a table so that you can plug it in via USB to your Mac and do AirPlay over USB if that suits your fancy. Have I ever intentionally smashed a HomePod? I have not. You know, I've broken a lot of things in my life. I've smashed a lot of things in my time. I have not actually ever smashed a HomePod. I've plugged a HomePod's subwoofer straight into the wall outlet. That's about the worst I've done to one. Oh, so what are we doing here? We are replacing these 4 filtering capacitors. Ceramic capacitors naturally decay over time and lose their effectiveness at filtering DC voltage. In this particular application, what'll happen is unwanted DC voltage gets introduced into the AC analog audio signal as it passes through the amplifier and gets amplified. The amp's job is to amplify what it's given. It doesn't know if it's getting AC or DC. It's getting a signal and it's going to amplify it. It's the board's job to give it the signal that it wants to amplify. Garbage in, garbage out. So, when these go bad, DC voltage gets introduced and amplified into the audio signal that gets sent to the subwoofer. What this results in are death farts and all sorts of other bass issues stemming from absolutely roasting your subwoofer. Because what it does is it doesn't just suck up all the extra power from your amp, it's also sucking up, it's also, it's restricting how much your subwoofer can move. So, it can't cool itself as effectively. It's warming up from this restriction as well, because it's got to work for this restriction, and then it can't work as well with it. So we like to replace these filters whenever we get the chance to keep it a happy, healthy HomePod for a long time coming. It's not bad at all without Apple's DSP. The only thing the DSP is really doing is increasing or decreasing certain frequency volumes and frequencies for the subwoofer, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much going to sound just fine. It's a speaker. Nothing special about it. As a matter of fact, plenty of people overseas tended to sell them online as DIY subwoofers to put for exactly that purpose, to put into an external enclosure or some DIY deal. What's the date code on our diode here? We've got a 42K, so that one's not going to fail and cause no power. This is good to go. You could cheat if you want an EQ on your HomePods that bad. You could work around it by using airfoil on a Mac, and then whenever you want to AirPlay from an iOS device, you AirPlay the Mac, and the Mac redirects the sound output to the connected HomePods in airfoil, and then of course you can have whatever equalizer you want running on Mac. Well, if I'm not mistaken, you can still AirPlay to the Mac that's re-AirPlaying via airfoil to the HomePods from your Apple TV. So you go Apple TV to the Mac, and then the Mac airfoils to the HomePods. But that would probably be hell for latency, especially if you're watching content. If all you're doing is listening to music, it would be just fine. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they don't just let you have an EQ. At the end of the day, just why? It's not like it's not capable of having one by any means. This is an intentional decision for them to not expose some kind of equalizer setting. Yeah, as intended. Sure. But a lot of people use HomePods as accessibility devices. They don't care to listen to it how it was intended. They need it to sound a specific way so they can hear it better. I guess reduced bass solves a lot of that for them. But still, wouldn't it just give it to us? Just let us have it. Have it off by default. All you're gonna do is make people that are unhappy with the HomePod sound, if anything, happier. It's not like adding an equalizer option or exposing it's going to make anybody unhappy. Somebody messes up with the equalizer and they don't like how it sounds with it on, they could just turn it off and it sounds like Apple intended the HomePod to sound. But I'm preaching to the choir. That is one sealed HomePod. that other screw go? Gosh darn. Oh, it's still in here. Yeah, the room sensing works to a degree, but what it can't do is your primary problem, which is where you sit in the room, tuning for that spot. All it can do is tune for how it sounds where it's at. And then on top of that, I don't think other HomePods in the room have much any bearing on the tuning of each HomePod either. Like, one HomePod only cares about how it sounds. It doesn't care how it sounds with any other HomePod in the room. What would be really smart is, say you've got more than one HomePod in a room, you tell it to tune itself, or heck, it just does this real time, but one HomePod over here uses the data from the other HomePods in the room in conjunction with its own to tune how it sounds throughout the whole room for the best response. But that would be taking it. That would be I imagine a fair bit of work for them to do. And I think for the majority of people, it works good enough. It's the edge cases and the people like you and me that, you know, want to do everything or push things to their limits, or just, you know, want to do something a little different. Or maybe we're just a little more sensitive or can pick up or notice differences. Most people aren't that tech savvy. Most people aren't very music quality savvy or audio quality savvy beyond, does it sound okay or not? Does it sound good or not? Well, they care about, I mean, obviously, yeah, stereo pairs will care about each other, but I don't even think a stereo pair cares about how the bass response of the left pair sounds to the right pair. All they do as far as talking to each other and tuning to each other is just splitting the channels up. But I don't think that they tune to each other. And then, you know, that goes without saying, the timing, you know, so that way everything sounds synced together. That's a different thing. Obviously everything is talking to each other to stay in sync, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. If you could just like use your, or not even use the LiDAR of your phone, but just use your phone and hold it where you sit in the room for a real-time calibration, or like a room calibration. Kind of like how you hold your iPhone up to the TV screen to set up an Apple TV and calibrate it. Alright, so this one's already factory reset. We're just listening to see if that setup chime sounds nice and clean. That sounds good. All right. Who's next? Looks like Chris. What is up with Chris's HomePod? Flashing volume buttons. Oh no. I'm not ready to disappoint someone. Alright, let's shoot Chris a message so they can watch us try to restore this. Here it is. Let's plug that in and get ourselves ready. Let's see, do I have? I do. Oh, I don't have a. Ooh. Give me 1 second. Oh, yes, I've got one right here. Still can't get that thing to boot the. Or you're trying to boot my image. Has that other fellow given up his yet? Because I'm very curious what's on there, being how old that is. Oh, I almost forgot. Protect that top. Okay. Let me make sure I don't have... Okay. I don't have a bunch of them running. Here we go. Gaster Pwn. Gaster Reset. Waiting for it to reconnect in recovery mode. Oh. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm using... Alright. I guess I did not make a new 18.0 APSW for this version of iDevice Restore. Give me just a second. Actually, hold on. I can just... I'm just going to use the other version of iDevice Restore. All right, uninstalled. Hold on. Oh, nothing to be done. Okay, so very nice. Okay. Nah, this one's cooked. Huh. Let me triple check that my environment here is in good working order. Because I have been messing around with my versions of iDevice Restore and trying to get the script working with David again. I don't know what I might have broken. I had it working though. Let's see. Yep. No, there's nothing wrong with my my environment. So this is sadly a hardware break. So we'll let Chris know we tried to restore it software. It's unfortunately bricked due to some hardware issue. No, it's not the cable or adapter. We used this one to restore the restore someone else's HomePod just the other day. And I can't use that one on that other HomePod because that other HomePod's the prototype HomePod and it won't fit. We could try pulling the logic board out and putting it in that one, but unable to send iBack to device is almost certainly a hardware issue inside of here. If it was an adapter issue, we would have seen a different kind of error. But in any case, if Chris wants us to take it apart and fix it, we might try to repair the logic board while we got it out. Also, if I'm not mistaken, we've got more than one bricked HomePod in the pile here, so if we get the exact same error with the same adapter on a different HomePod, then we'll know for sure it's our adapter. But I'm 99.9% sure it is not. I am very, very curious though, so I'm going to dig through the queue here and find that one that's bricked, and we're going to see what it does. I think actually it's Fred up next here. Oh, I took my cable. Have I ever opened my MacBook? Oh yeah, my M2 MacBook Pro. I opened it up, gawked at the insides, and closed it right back up. Not much you can really do inside of those, unless you're doing board repair, of course. Alright. So it's not Fred. Fred's HomePod does not turn on. What about Jiro? Okay, Jiro's HomePod also doesn't turn on. What about Brian? Nope. Okay. Well, this is our only bricked HomePod repair for the day, so I suppose we'll take the logic board out and we'll check. It does not work with the 100 megabit USB Apple Ethernet adapter. It doesn't work with a gigabit Apple Ethernet adapter. It doesn't work with a 100 megabit 2012 era Belkin OEM Apple adapter. It doesn't work with a powered USB hub with Ethernet adapter. It does not work with any USB Ethernet adapter that I can find. I wish it did. What is the name of the build? I don't know. Sorry. I actually don't know. Just look up 2012 Belkin Apple USB Ethernet adapter. It's got an Apple logo on one side and it's Belkin branded on the other. I don't actually have it here. It's at my office. Otherwise, I would check for you. But I mean, it's only 100 megabit. I would not buy it for anything modern. I only have it because I think I took it from my high school. All right. Gaster Pwn. Gaster Reset. iDevice Restore. Prove me wrong. I would be happy to be wrong. Nope. Same exact error. Device did not reconnect, possibly invalid IBEC. That logic board is cooked. Well, at least we know for sure now, without a shadow of a doubt. You only see a lightning one? Nah. You gotta look older. You gotta look older. Like this is USB 2.0. Okay, let's put all this to the side. We'll let Chris know their options. They can pay a little more to get it fixed along with some maintenance and a 1-year warranty. They can give it to us. They can sell it to us. They can get it back untouched. Smash it with my hand. No. I won't smash... Excuse me. I probably won't ever smash a HomePod with a hammer unless someone pays me to. I don't think I could do that to one of them. Especially like a perfectly repairable HomePod. Chock full of good parts, you know? Couldn't bring myself to it. Alright, it looks like from here forward it's all going to be no power repairs. Actually, Richie sent in that amp-only board, and they tried to fix their amp and goofed it up, so that will be interesting. We'll save that for last. You're trying to find a good gigabit one for your iPhone. Oh, yeah. No, that's why I said I couldn't bring myself to smash a perfectly good repairable HomePod. See, to me, perfectly good could mean broken to many other people. Alright. We got a couple of watts from the wall. We got no lights or anything else. I'm sure if we left it plugged in for long enough, it might even get warm on the side like we say on the site. But we've seen enough here. We know it's that usual diode. If you're looking for a gigabit one for your iPhone, in my experience, most of the ones that you can buy off Amazon that are like OTG compatible or like compatible with Android phones usually work just fine on iOS and iPadOS. Doesn't need to be any Apple OEM stuff. We just buy all sorts of random Ethernet adapters off Amazon at work for testing our mobile app, and a lot of the times they just want to use Ethernet instead of dealing with the crappy office Wi-Fi, so they got some iPhones, they got some Android phones, and it seems like we don't have any problems with pretty much any of the USB Ethernet adapters that we've tried, at least. You just plug it in and it just works. Pretty cool. You get a little Ethernet adapter icon at the top right of your notification bar, or your status bar. Subwoofer looks and smells to be in perfect shape. What the heck? Shuts down your whole network? That's a little intense. Oh, does it do the same thing if you use the adapter with any other device? Like an Android phone or a laptop or anything like that? Or does it only happen with the iPhone? Alright, that is a roasty looking diode. For 8K dated, of course. All right. Are you sure your Ethernet cable's good? I mean, I'm sure you tried like a different Ethernet cable, and it wouldn't make sense if it's only on the iPhone, but still, it could be a jacked up Ethernet cable that I've seen that where a jacked up Ethernet cable won't negotiate the full gigabit speeds. Oh, but it was weird too. I also only saw it with certain adapters and laptops. Like I would grab my ThinkPad and it would work just fine. But that was probably some kind of physical connection broken in the cable along the way that intermittently worked. Wow. An incompatibility that just breaks your whole network too. right. Let's pull up the next fellow's info. Okay. We are looking at Jiro's home pod. No power after a power outage.
I'm having trouble.
Beautiful. HomePod. HomePod has no power. HomePod has a dead diode. Let's fix it. That's what I thought. The head of this screw for this power supply is bent? We didn't do that. That was, that's from the factory. I'll just replace that. Just in case. Alright, up close, here we go. Time for some new fart filters. For 8K. Let's get that replaced. Hello, Chris. Unfortunately, this one is not yours. We already looked at yours a few HomePods ago. The result, unfortunately, was that it did not take a USB restore. So we're going to follow up with an email with you after our stream today with, the options that you've got. If you want to pay a little more and get the hardware repair done and a 1-year warranty on it, or you can sell it to us, or you can just get it back. No charge. But we'll shoot you an email after the stream. Okay. This one's got new filters. Keep those death farts away. It's got a new diode, so it should turn on again. All it needs is to get put back together. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. I figured you guys didn't want to hear it. All right. Let's see what this one's got. We've got power. We've got kitchen on 17.1.1. Let me connect to kitchen here. We are connected to kitchen. Here we go. Let me turn the mic volume. Oh, the mic volume's been down this whole time. I've probably been very quiet. Well, I'm going to give you a fair warning now. Turn your volume down if you've got it turned up now. We're going to do a quick sound test. We're turning the volume back up. All right, that sounds good to go. Time for you to go back to the kitchen. Looks like we've got 1.5 more to knock out today. let's take a look at Brian's HomePod. Shoot him a quick email so they can watch. And let's get their name up on the screen. Here we go. Oh, I got a new printer today. You don't understand. I have been suffering, and I say suffering specifically because suffering is a choice, and I chose this. But for the past few months, I've been dealing with my Canon printer no longer printing black or gray. It printed blue just fine, and I really needed to print shipping labels, and I did not want to spend money on a new printer yet. So for the past few months, I've just been downloading my shipping labels, opening them back up in GIMP, and replacing black with blue, and then printing that. And that's printed just fine. But it's grown into quite the hassle. It's not fun when you can just click print next to the shipping labels versus having to download each one two at a time, open them in GIMP, edit, save, print two at a time. It was a pain in the butt. Not to mention how long it took just to print every time I sent a print job to the thing. It had to think about it for 10 minutes. I don't understand it. So I replaced it with an Epson 2400 tank printer. Goodness. I love it. Jiro, glad you could make it. Glad you could watch us get your pod fixed up, and you should be getting some follow-up emails from me any second here, so you can get your HomePod back. Feel free to hang out while we fix a couple more here. Now that I've fixed it, would I recommend updating to the latest? I will say this. I can no longer recommend to everybody to always update. Because what we've seen are even recent updates hardware bricking HomePods. The chances are low, but if you've got hardware problems, an update is going to more likely than not exacerbate those hardware problems. And by that, we're talking about the ball grid array for the storage chip. So what I've got to recommend now these days is, if it works fine for you and you have no reason, like you're not itching for features that are in newer versions of the software, and the version that it's on works just fine for you, I'm inclined to suggest everybody stay on the version that they're on. Just because there is that risk that it hardware bricks itself when you update. But that said, if a software update is all it took to stick the nail in the coffin and hardware brick it, then chances are it's going to hardware break itself, regardless of you updating it or not, at some point in the near future. The software update's just going to exacerbate that. So it's a tough call. For me personally, just because I've got, you know, the tools and the skill set to fix pretty much whatever happens to mine, I'll probably keep mine relatively up to date. I'll wait, of course, a few days to make sure other people that have already updated don't notice any major issues. And then I push the update to all of mine at once. I'm crazy. But yeah, I think that's a good recommendation. Is if it works fine for you and you're not like, oh man, I really need that feature that's in the newer version, keep it on what it's at. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Jiro. First up, some maintenance. Let's give it some new fart filters. And there's our dead diode. 48K dated, of course. Alright. It looks... Yes, sir. Alright. That brings us to the last one.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Yeah, aren't we all? We got Richie's amplifier board. Let's see, so Richie took their own HomePod apart. Tried to replace the diode on the amplifier, if I'm not mistaken, and goofed it up a little bit. Let's see what we just signed ourselves up for. Nope. They included a return label. They've got this nice cutout. Oh, and they gave me diodes, that's right. That's right. I won't say no to some free diodes. So what they did was they said they replaced it and it still doesn't turn on. Yeah, so that's all right. Let's take a quick look all around the board and make sure they didn't break anything while they were working on it. I see some corrosion. That's strange. The HomePod is sealed. The only reason there would be corrosion on the board is if something or someone got in it and got something on it. But yeah, straight up. We got a little bit of corrosion over here. And we got a little bit of corrosion over here. But I don't think that's going to cause their problems. I mean, it might actually, because that's where the display and logic board connect. I'm also kind of suspect of whether that diode is actually on there or not. It appears connected, but maybe it needs to have a better connection to actually turn on. Lastly, I see some scratches on the top plane right here, exposing probably the ground plane. Let's find out. If we stick a probe on unknown ground and yeah, so that scratched through the board to the ground. If I'm not mistaken, these are ground. These all go to ground, so that's not a big deal if the solder blob touches that scratch on the board, because this is all ground anyways. So that's okay. We're gonna keep looking around the rest of this board, make sure there isn't anything awry. Especially around the screws for the amplifier. People can get a little sloppy with their screwdriver and break things off and sometimes not even notice. It looks like, though, everything is where it should be. I want to clean that corrosion really quick before we dig around too much here. That connector for the amplifier, or for the ribbon cable, is pretty loose too. Alright, will that fix it? Probably not. What we should do before we go any further is test and see if this thing even turns on. Because we don't want to spend a bunch of time assuming there's something wrong with the amplifier, when in reality what might have happened is perhaps they didn't put it together correctly, or they've got a different component that's causing their problems. If I remember correctly, they did say they confirmed the diode was dead before they replaced it. Okay, we've got what we need connected to this to see if it turns on. I hear the caps kick in. I hear them juice up. But we got nothing here. So, certainly a problem on the amplifier here somewhere. I think we will look at the area they worked on first. Let's pull that diode off, and then we'll just re-tin the diode and put it back on. Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you guys see that? What? What? Was that leg on the step down like glowing just a second ago? Now I'm scared. What is going on? It's making concerning sounds at me. Why is it doing this? What kind of flux did you use, Richie? Well, geez. How does that work? Interesting. We're reading like a 36 ohm short across these pads here. That's kind of strange. Yeah, no, our big pad is, if I'm not mistaken, this is the positive, and these are the negative. Yep, that's ground. That's got 0 ohms directly. And then this, what is going on here? I think we're going to have to clean that pad up and see what's going on underneath. It looks fine. Wow. I don't know what solder they used either, but it is stubborn. Alright, that cap's coming off. I think what happened they scratched the ground plane right here. Or they scratched the... You see this right here? That scratch right there? Is that what that is? No, that's just some solder goo. But in any case, I think what happened was they might have caused a short, getting a little too aggressive cleaning this pad off here. Because like that shouldn't be... That should be pretty much open. So the fact that we see nah, something else is, I think there might actually be something else shorted on here somewhere. It might be that step down. Yeah, we've still got a pretty severe short around here. I'm gonna pull the step down off. If it doesn't go away, then we're gonna put a pause on it and come back to it. The only reason I'm taking the step down off is because we saw it glowing a minute ago. When we come back to this, though, the plan of attack will be, if assuming the short doesn't go away with the step down, we'll reinstall all of the components and then we'll look at it with the thermal camera. No, it's still there. Yeah, we still got like a 30 ohm short to ground. I can't help but think it's that. But there's nothing else on there. It's all gone. Oh, I think I fixed it. Oh, I think I fixed it. You'll never believe it. There was just a tiny little bit of solder hiding right here, and I think it was touching the ground pad against the inductor. Is that... That doesn't seem valid. Yeah, this isn't conductive. So, I mean, all we did was we cleaned this pad up again one more time, and now it's... Now it's good. Well, to heck with it. Let's see if I can find another step down. Geez, I should probably buy some. Because I think I've picked this step down off of all of my parts boards by now. I think I have another one right here. Perfect. Okay. Let's attack. We'll get this step down first since it's the trickiest. And I am putting a replacement step down on here since I don't know what that other one was doing. Alright, last but not least, let's retin that diode. One last check to make sure that pad isn't still seeing ground. Very nice. I think we've got a decent chance that this is going to work. And our short is back. Really? This makes no sense. I guess we'll try a different diode too. What did he get? He got S560? Yeah, that's the right stuff. I'm tempted to I'm tempted to cover up the ground pad and just oh no, that's the positive. I can't just cover it up and reroute it. Okay. Maybe? Question mark?
What's that?
Alright, if this doesn't work, we will try again later. Woo! Spooky. Jesus. That's probably what happened when Richie tried to turn it on his first time, too. That probably killed my brand new step down. Shit. I think that big positive pad for the diode is damaged and gone through its plane through to a ground plane, and that's what's causing our problems here. With that said, I think we're probably going to call this one in particular a no fix. We'll give Richie some options, but this board in particular might be a little too far gone for repair. I'm not sure. But in any case, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. At least we got a bunch of other stuff fixed today. And I hope to catch you in another one soon.